and there's someone in your team that you think would really benefit from this, message them privately, or even call them. You know, that's what I used to do. There's people in the team now that you see as hardcore traders that weren't always like that. I had to really kind of really get on their case to get onto the training sessions. But once they come on, it's like going to the gym, right? You don't. Some people don't really want to go gym, but then once they've been and they've come back, they feel pumped. It's that kind of thing. So sometimes people just need that gentle cajoling, that little nudge. Wow, D's in the house. Wow, Simon France in the house. 11. I love that, Simon. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, let me just get some. Well, I'm going to send a reminder to my distribution list, and when it goes out to those guys, it's a wrap. Okay. Let me just put it. It's a broadcast, not to reply. Otherwise, I get overloaded. Broadcast. Do not reply. Have you got a house? I see you, Mr. Talbot. With 3D, were they 3D glasses? Oh, that's right. I've got a light shade. I had to buy a little lamp. I've noticed on my Zane Khan call, I come up really dark. I've had to buy a little lamp, so now you guys can see me, but I really can't see you guys. Oh man, okay, the struggle is real. Let's get the FTA here. Got a feeling this one might be a lockout. Guys, you want to get those spaces in early. I think it's going to be a lockout. Some people are going to be disappointed. This is a good training, guys. It's a really good training. This was one of the things I became obsessed with when it first dropped. Some of you that are old enough to remember my trainings on this, it was solid. When I went on my chairman run, it kind of fell off a little bit. And now Ceci Thompson's picked it up and just taken it to a whole new level. She's smiling because she knows what she's about to unleash. Listen, guys, if you see this lady's trading account, the pips, you guys are in for a real treat. That's what I'm going to say. So just make sure that you're good. Get a glass of water. You don't want to take any phone calls because this is going to get locked out. And when it does, you don't want to receive a phone call. You know, who is it? Jessica got locked out of her own session the other day. I had Starboy on here doing a training and he got locked out. You know, it's serious, guys. You know, you really don't want to take a phone call. It's going to lock out with 48, and it's just gone past 6. So we're going to give it 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, guys. 2 more minutes. Just get your guys. It is a Sunday. And I know Sunday is traditionally the day of rest. What group have I missed out? Kingdom Builders. Let's see what we got here, actually. Let's see what we got here. Because let's see. Okay, I just see some messages. What's going on, the bid? Hope you're well. Good stuff. Like this. What's the meeting ID? Okay, what's the meet? Oh, someone's put it in there. Thank you. So let's see who we got. Let me just get, because we've got some teams within the teams now. So A team, put a 1 in the chat box if you're from the A team. If you're from the A team, I know Simon France, David's here. If you're from the A team, Asa Perry on the call, my good friend from way back when. Big shout to Southwood Primary School. Uh-oh. Okay. Just got Asa from A team. Okay, Kingdom Builders, 2. Put a 2 in the chat box if you're from Kingdom Builders. Kingdom Builders. Okay, I'm gonna put a little message in Kingdom Builders because let's get a little message in here. Kingdom Builders. Get this little thing in here. Okay, so you guys should be jumping on real soon. Who else we got here? Team Excel, free. Team Excel. Put a free in the chat box if you're from Team Excel. 63 people on the call. Where are these 63 people? Okay, Team Excel are coming through strong. That's what I like to see. Team Excel not playing games at all. Sandra Wilson on the call. Guys, if you've not got your trading journal, make sure you reach out to Sandra Wilson. Doing great work. Thank you so much. Pammy B. Wow. Team Excel are not playing games. I think they're going to take the crown. I think they're going to take it. A-Team took it last time. In fact, actually, it was between A-Team and Fitness Trading Academy. Okay, Life Shift. No, sorry. Traders Vision. 4. Traders Vision. Okay, Team Excel. We know you're in the house. We know you're in the house. Stacey Jeffrey representing Traders Vision. Nana. Yes, Nana. I haven't seen you in a minute. Brilliant. 5. Life Shift Society. Number 5. David straight in there. Wow, I'm really representing for Life Shift. They're coming through strong. Amazing. 6. Fitness Trading Academy. Fitness Trading Academy. Number 6. Oh, it's a quiet one from FTA. Okay. Surprising. I know you guys are cooking up some plans. 7. Generation Global. 1 representative from Fitness Trading Academy. Generation Global, number 7. Okay, number 8. ZMN Commercial. You guys should be hearing full force. ZMN. Wow. Excellent. 9. I Am Wealthy. Headed up by Sassy herself. And 10, by no means least, Hustle Hard. Number 10. Where are you at? Wow. Okay. Considering this is one of the newest teams, that's a strong showing. Very strong showing. Okay, guys, let's get going. I want to respect your time. Well done. Hustle Hard coming through there. I think Traders Empire just edged. No, they killed it. Not Traders Empire. Sorry. Team Excel. So let's give a little round of applause to Team Excel. Big representation there. Amazing. Okay, guys, we've got 79 people on this call. It's definitely going to lock out. So just send those last minute texts to your people because you don't want them to miss out. And I am going to kick this off. So a warm welcome. I hope everyone is safe and well. I've been looking forward to this training session and you're going to know why very shortly. Now, just a bit of background. So this training is called, it uses a tool called ECC-11, which is part of Vibrata. So you've got the Vibrata add-on service, and then ECC-11 is an add-on to the add-on. And it's a scalping strategy. Now, I'm not going to steal the thunder away from Stassi because she's going to, she's got her presentation prepared. Oh, by the way, those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Des Amey, Managing Director of Amey Finance Academy, Chairman in IM Mastery Academy. You should know who I am, but if not, that's exactly who I am. Just a little shout as well, guys, that we do offer 50K funded accounts. Okay, I've not plugged this in a while. We give everyone the opportunity to have a 50K funded account. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the link in the chat box real quick so you guys have that, because it's not been plugged in a while. I know some of you guys already have it. Let me just, wow, thank you for that, man. I just see that private message. Someone just said I look good. I love messages like that. Wow. Okay, yeah, I've just put that in box. So 50K, it's a funded account. Visit that link, ameyfinance.com/funded account, and then you're just going to get the full info. So read it thoroughly, and if you're happy with the terms and conditions, apply for a funded account. It's open to everybody. It's private funds, huge investment. So you don't need to worry. All the risk is with us. We assume all the risk. Some people get these funded accounts and they get nervous. Like, oh, guys, don't worry. There's things in place. You can only lose 10%. And then, it's one of them things. So yeah, funded accounts, wanted to mention that. Very important. So ECC-11 is actually an abbreviation of Ecclesiastics 11, which is a Bible chapter and verse. Now, you don't have to be religious, and all you need to know is that this is a book that was written a very long time ago. So you're going to be blown away, whether you're Christian or not, by the meaning or what these verses actually mean. So Ecclesiastics 11 verse 1, the GNTA version, states very clearly, invest your money in foreign trade, and one of these days you will make a profit. The first time that I saw that scripture, I was blown away to think that the Bible or a book that was written a long time ago said that. That should blow you away by itself. Okay, and this is why Dr. Kathy, called this strategy ECC-11. She's a Christian, she's a grandmother, she's someone who was down to her last few dollars when she discovered trading, and was able to use this strategy to turn into a multi-millionaire. And then verse 2 says, if you wasn't blown away by verse 1, verse 2 states, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. What do we say now? The average millionaire has at least 7 sources of income. So again, even if you're not Christian, just respect the fact that this is a book that was written, over 2,000 years ago, and it's saying things that still apply to this very day. So ECC-11 is a quick and easy to use strategy. You can use it when you have spare time. There's no need to mark up charts. There's no need to sit on charts all day. It fits around you using sophisticated investment banking software. And the success rate is absolutely phenomenal. You're gonna, guys, there's 5 more spaces left on this webinar. It's gonna lock out. Well done to Sassy, first major session, and then she's gonna get a lockout. When I say high success rate, I'm not gonna steal Sassy's thunder, but her results are mind-blowing. Tripled her account. Guys, if you just mute your mics, please. She tripled her account last week, and then this week, I did her a disservice. I think I said in one of the chats that she made 100 pips. She actually caught 250 pips last week. So this is not, to be taken lightly, this strategy at all. Now, Sassy, what can I say about Sassy? Sassy is someone who's blown me away, since she's come into this academy. She's come into this academy not to see if it's going to work. She's come to make it work, because her why is so huge. She's got a beautiful son, and everything that she does is for him and to build generational wealth. She's just kind of stepped into that role of being a leader very early, way earlier than I ever did, and she's just grabbing this opportunity with both hands. This is a lady who bought her first house when she was 19 years old. And by the age of 26, she was a property millionaire. Like, that's not easy. Can we just put a 2 in the chat box just for that alone? Because I love saying that. Like, but by the age of 26, what were you doing at 26? Because I know what I was doing. What were you doing at 26? By the age of 26, guys, look at the 2s coming through. She's a property millionaire. She's comes from an HR background, an HR manager, director, someone who, has got a real pedigree. So without further ado, I just want to say that I've got huge amounts of love and respect for this lady. And I want you to ensure that you've got your notepad and pen ready to take notes, because what she's going to give you is absolute flames and fire. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, let me just, guys, we're at a lockout. Can we just put a 3 in the chat box? Sassy's first major team session, and she locked it out. It's locked. We're locked in, guys. Guys, pray. I'm praying that you don't get a phone call. Please do not get a phone call, because I'm sure there's a waiting list. It's locked and loaded. I love it. Okay. Without further ado, let me hand over to the host with the most, the hostess with the mostest, Sassy by name and sassy by nature, Sassy Thompson. Over to you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Des. First of all, can everybody hear me? If you just put like a Y or a yes in the chat box, because I'm using 2 devices at the moment. Brilliant. Perfect. So thank you so much, Des, for your kind words. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for all the mentoring and all the support, because I wouldn't have done this training for the wider AFA team. I literally was keeping it a secret and was just doing it for my sort of small team that's growing. Des jumped on and he was like, no, you've kind of made a bed for yourself now, because you're going to have to do this for the rest of the team. So thank you so much for pushing me, and thank you for everything. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to probably have to turn my camera off, because I'm using my mobile to actually share the slides. Long story. but let's just kind of get into the content in a moment. But just touching on what Des said, there are some similarities between me and Dr. Kathy Kirkland in the sense that, yes, we did take part in real estate or in the property industry. And just like me, she actually lost all of her property investments in the recession back in 2008, 2009. And then we're kind of using this industry now to rebuild ourselves. So I think that that's kind of why there's a good fit in there. So that's just a little bit to touch on the background that Des mentioned. So I'm just going to get the slides up and turn my camera off, and then we will get started, okay? Right. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. If somebody can just put a 1 in the chat box to say that you can still hear me, and then I can just basically carry on with brilliant. Perfect. Okay. So if you guys are relatively new, then you may or may not remember that when you seen the business overview, you were told about multiple streams of income that you can have via this platform or via this academy. So this is basically touching on multiple income stream number 2, where we're advising you to learn the skill. So up until this point, I'm hoping that you've taken some trades either through the Breakfast Club or through one of the other Earn and Learn clubs that we have going. But this idea is to move you slowly, progressively on to the most important stage, which is learn the skill. For those of you who are more experienced and more long-standing members in the academy, then hopefully I can still give you some nuggets. Hopefully you still learn something new, or maybe you've come across a new strategy that you've always been meaning to explore and just haven't got round to it. So I'm hoping there's something for everybody. So let's teach you how to fish. So as Des mentioned briefly before, this strategy was created by Dr. Kathy Kirkland. He's given a background behind the name, ECC-11, and this is basically a beginner's basics, okay? So we're going to go through the steps of what you need to do to set up to use the strategy. The strategy is very simple in itself, but the slight confusion lies in the actual setup. So that's what this is based on. And as Des mentioned, this is a scalping strategy. So for those of you who haven't already done this, please, not right now, but when you're going to start incorporating the strategy, please go to or Google baby pips, what type of trader am I? And that will come up with a quiz that will tell you the type of trading strategy that should suit you best based on your personality. Now, what I will say is answer the questions truthfully, but in regards to trading. And the reason why I say that is because when I did it, I was answering it in regards to my character as a whole. And I was coming up with all these different types of strategies where the methods just didn't work for me. It didn't fit me. I was getting really frustrated. And then I went back and I did it again, and I answered the questions specifically only related to trading. And it came up with that I was a scalper. And funnily enough, some of my sisters and some of the people who knew me, and they knew how I reacted when I had trades open, they just said, "Oh, Sass, we think you're a scalper. We think you're a scalper." And I was like, well, no, that's not what my results show. So just bear that in mind when you're doing the quiz. Just keep it relating to trading. So Dr. Kathy Kirkland, these are the times that she's on. I don't think it's changed, but that's the times that she's on. So just bear that in mind for going into go live. And these are UK times, by the way. So as Des has already mentioned, about the name, there you go. It says, ECC-11, invest your money in foreign trade. One of these days you will make a profit. Put investments in several places, many places even, because you never know what kind of bad luck you are going to have in this world. And the reason why she named that is because, like I said, she had many investment properties. She's a mother of 5. And at that particular time, she had four children in university or college, as they call it in America. And the recession hit and she lost all of her properties, and her husband was about to be laid off. So she was also about to lose her family home. So she came across this amazing platform that we're all part of. And she, just like all of us, she had doubts and she had questions in regards to, is this really for me? Is it a scam? It sounds too good to be true. So being a woman of faith, she prayed on it and she asked God to show her a sign. And whether you're religious or not, you know, the fact that when she opened the Bible and it opened up onto this book, onto this particular verse, she read it and she just thought, that's it, say no more, I'm all in. She took that as a yes. And after that, what she actually did, she took $40, that's what she started her trading account with, $40, and she turned that into $1.3 million, 1.3 million in 8 months. So this strategy and this platform is absolutely amazing. You just need to kind of jump on it. Right, so the first steps is, if you already have the elite package, you don't need to worry about this step. But if, like the majority of you may be on the platinum package, you will need to buy the add-on. And those are the instructions to buy the add-on. You literally just log into im.academy. You'll see a blue panel towards the left-hand side of your screen. And you scroll down to shopping cart, you hit purchase, and then that's basically you put in your payment details and that's it. So what you would then need to do is then go to imlwebanalyzer.com. And just please note that analyzer is spelt the American way with a Z and not an S. So once you've done that and you've logged in, this should be what you see next, the top yellow rectangle of the screen. So if you see this screen, what you need to do is just basically scroll down just to where it says volume bursts. Now on this training, I've put yellow arrows and I've numbered the yellow arrows to correlate with the written instructions. So hopefully, you know, I'm trying to make it as foolproof as possible, so you can just pass it on to your teams and they can kind of crack on with it. So where you see arrow number 1, that's basically volume bursts on the screen. And then below that, where arrow number 2 is, that's the drop down box that you're looking for. And all you need to do there is choose Dr. Kathy Kirkland's ECC strategy, then click on Save Settings. Once you've saved the settings, you click on Trade Forex, which is just below the drop down box where arrow number 4 is. Once you've then done that, this is what you will see. You will see this black screen with red and green lines going up and down, and a whole load of other lines going across the screen. Don't get put off by that, okay? The first thing that you really need to look at when you see this page is look down at the bottom where the big massive yellow arrow is, and it says strategy. At the moment it says select strategy template. So sometimes, even if you've chosen it on the previous screen, what I've been finding is that sometimes it still doesn't pull through onto this page. So just make a habit of checking down at the bottom that it says what you want it to say. Now if it doesn't, basically all you need to do is click on it, and then you'll get a pop-up box. And in that pop-up box, you just select the strategy. And again, obviously you're looking for Dr. Kathy Kirkland's name. She's the first option always, so you won't need to be scrolling for long. Once you've chosen that, you then click Save Settings and Reload, okay? So now you can see at the bottom where the yellow arrow is pointed, it now says, after strategy, it says Dr. Kathy's ECC-11. So once you see that, you know that you're actually on the correct strategy, and that's exactly where you want to be. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to change the settings for something called the Ichimoku cloud. Okay, so Ichimoku, most people get put off by the name. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Japanese name because it was a Japanese man who invented it and perfected it. And what it actually stands for, it stands for a glance or one sight. I think that's what it translates to in English. So meaning we kind of just need to look at it once, we just take a quick glance at it and we kind of know what we need to do. And by the end of this, you should hopefully, yes, it's being recorded, guys, it's being recorded. Once you kind of get a hang of this, hopefully you guys will, hopefully you guys will agree that it is literally one glance. So once you click on Ichimoku, where the yellow number 1 arrow is, what you need to do is then click the settings icon. And once you've clicked the settings icon, what we want to do is to change the inputs of the cloud. Don't worry about any of the technicalities, okay? Literally just change the numbers to 6, 13, 26, 13. And that's where arrow number 2 is pointing to. Once you've then done that, click on style. Once you've clicked on style, what we want to do, we want to change the color of 2 lines, only the first 2. So at the moment it says conversion line, then it has a blue box. You click on that blue box and we want you to change it to red. So once you've clicked on that blue box, you will then see this color chart pop up. You will click, you'll change it to red, and you would also change the thickness of the line. And we want the line to be the thickest option available. And this will all make sense in a moment. Now, once you've changed that, click anywhere in the Ichimoku pop-up box that's black. And I've just put arrow number 2 there as just a spot for you to kind of know, right, if I click there, then that's okay. So once you've clicked there, you will then basically have the pop-up box that's still there. And we now need to change the baseline color. That's where arrow number 1 is pointing at. We want to change that to blue. Now, if for any reason you feel that you can't remember what the color's meant to be, I just think of baseline, B begins with, base begins with B, blue begins with B. So the baseline needs to be blue. And then the line above that needs to be the other color, which is red. So that's literally how I remember it. If I don't, if I didn't have my notes in the beginning, that's how I remembered it. So once you've changed that to blue, we then want you to also change the line to the thickest option available, which is where arrow number 3 is. Then where arrow number 4 is, you tap on default and you do save as default and then OK. That is literally the setup for this strategy. Now this slide, it may look a bit confusing, but I'm basically just trying to point out where everything is on the one screen. So if we start with arrow number 1, that is basically the arrow number 1, which is on the left-hand side of the screen. That is basically the time frames for the alerts that you're going to get. So with the strategy, the system, the device or the software shouts out alerts and you'll hear like a kerching sound, and that means that a new alert or a potential trade idea has been given. So what we want to do is we want to use M1, M3, M5 and M15, and all that M stands for is minutes. So we want alerts on the 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. The 1 minute might get a bit frustrating, so if it does, then just untick that. But untick all the others. So you would untick the box where it says H1, which means every 1 hour. You would untick H4 every 4 hours, and you would untick D, which stands for daily. That's the alerts. Now, number 2, that whole panel is where the trade alerts are. And if the writing or the text is in green, that means that it's a potential buy. If the writing is in red, then it means it's a potential sell. Now, even if you don't remember this, it says it in the alert anyway. So as you can see, the top one, it says potential sell of EUR GBP H1. So you don't really need to remember the colors, but it's there. I find it quicker just to look at the colors rather than trying to read it. But when you're new, do whatever it takes for you to kind of get the correct result. Now, if we move over to where arrow number 3 is, that is the currency pair of the chart that's then shown for the majority of the screen. So if you ever wonder what chart that you're on, that's the section that you will look at, and that will confirm whether or not you're on the correct chart. So over on the left-hand side, it says USD JPY as a potential buy. And that is the chart that's actually open on this screenshot now. Now, because it's a 15-minute alert, if you see where arrow number 4 is, it says 15M, and that's highlighted in blue. That basically means, 6/13/26 13, not 30, the last digit is 13, Lee. So yeah, where arrow number 4 is, that's highlighted, and that's how you know that your chart is on the 15-minute chart. Now, number 5, if you look, it's right to the right-hand side of the screen. that is where your countdown timer is. Don't worry about that now, but when we get a bit further on, you'll understand why you might want to know where that's located. Then number 6, this is quite important. So where arrow number 6 is pointing, that basically shows you the session that you're on at that particular time. So as we know, or as if you're new or not, hopefully you know that there are 4 main sessions. Now, the first one that's highlighted there, that's like a big clock. That's meant to represent Big Ben. That means we're in the London session. To the right of it, and I appreciate you may not be able to see because the background's black and it, you know, but you may not be able to see it, but that's basically the Statue of Liberty icon to represent the New York session. The one alongside that, I believe, is a kangaroo to represent the Sydney session. And then the one furthest along is like an oriental type building or something, which is meant to represent the Tokyo session. So whichever session is highlighted, that's how you know what session you're in. And there will be times of the day where more than one session will be highlighted. So for most of us, we'll probably have Big Ben and the Statue of Liberty highlighted, which means we're in between the London and New York sessions. But if you're like me and you trade at random hours of the night, then you'll also see the kangaroo and the Tokyo session highlighted as well. So that's area number 6. Now, number 7 is interesting because this strategy can actually not only be used for foreign currency, it can also be used for indices, crypto, and metals. So if you're a fan of gold, you can apply the ECC-11 strategy to gold also. And if you like, you know, trade in Bitcoin or Ethereum, I can't keep up with all the names of them, but if you like trading crypto, then you can also. So if you want to change what the alert is coming through, you literally just click on this relevant circle. So starting from the left, that represents foreign currency, forex currencies. But if you hover over them, it will tell you what they are. So you don't even have to remember them. But then the next one across is a B in a circle, which represents Bitcoin, which means that's the crypto alerts that you want. The third circle, I believe, is like a bar graph, which represents indices. And then the fourth one is meant to be like a bars of gold, which represents metals. So if you ever want to change the alerts, where arrow 7's pointing, you just click on that, and then the alert panel on the left-hand side will change to the relevant potential trade signals. Finally, where arrow number 8 is where you would click to check your news alerts. So you can always just quickly click on that, and the alert panel will change, and it would then basically say whatever potential news alerts you should be aware of. That is literally the screen, okay? So hopefully it hasn't confused, and hopefully you guys are all still with me. I did see a question. Sorry if I've missed the question, guys. What do you like trading the most? I started off with currencies, but I'm really starting to like gold. It's moving a lot. It moves like the type of speed that I like it to move. But I'm still doing gold in my demo at the moment because, yeah, we just need to wait and see till I've got the hang of it. Okay, so this on the left hand side, you can see that that's basically what it looks like once you've clicked on the trade alerts icon. That's how the alert panel will then look. It says today's high impact news, and then it will all be listed. Now, what I would say before taking any trade, you do click that icon, but also go to forexfactory.com. It really is imperative that you do this because you don't want to get caught out by taking a trade on a currency pair and there's some big news that's about to drop like in the next half an hour or hour, and you just don't want to get caught out. Okay. Number 2, before you take a trade, you untick all the times apart from M5 and M15. So that's where arrow number 2 is pointing. Now, let's say that we've basically heard the ka-ching sound and we're thinking, okay, what do I do? So where arrow number 4 is, what you first thing you want to do is you want to know how new or how old is that potential trade. Where arrow number 4 is pointing, it tells you the time passed. So on this example of Euro USD, it's 27 hours and 8 minutes that's passed. But that's only because of the relevant time that I took the screenshot. So normally it will say 0.0 minutes, it will say 5 minutes, 23 minutes, however long. But that's just for you to get an idea as to how old or new the trade is. Then number 5 is the currency pair. So let's say you want to kind of say, right, let me see if I can take this trade. You would click where arrow number 5 is pointing, which is basically the currency pair in bold. So you click on that, and then on the right-hand side of your screen, it will then open up with the relevant chart for that relevant currency pair. And if you remember, I showed you where to look, where arrow number 6 is. That's the check that you've actually clicked it, you know, it's actually registered that you've clicked and it's got the correct chart open. So that's what number 6 is for. Just glance up there to make sure it correlates to the alert that you want to open. Now, if you look back over where arrow number 5 is, it says EUR/USD bracket M5. That means that alert came through on the 5-minute time frame. So if you look over where arrow number 7 is, 5M is highlighted. So the chart, when you click on the currency pair, the chart automatically opens up on the time frame that the alert was given in. But if you ever want to check, you just look at the top to see wherever it's highlighted in blue. What's the best currency to trade? Oh, that's down to personal preference. I quite like GBP USD pairs. I like the JPY pairs. I know some people in my team love the CHF pairs. You'll find your own. There's no right or wrong answer to that. Okay, so once you've clicked on the currency pair, it brings up the chart. Double check that it's the correct currency pair that's showing and check the time frame for the alert. Then the next thing you want to look at is the called at price. So that means when that trade was called, that's where the market was at that particular time. And where arrow number 8 is, you can see it says 1.08728. That is the called at price. And from the practical point of view, I kind of make a note of that price, or I did when I first started getting started with this strategy. Now, once you've done that, what you actually want to do is you want to put a horizontal line where the called at price is. So if you basically click anywhere on the chart and then click Alt and H, the letter H, a horizontal line will automatically appear. If you don't move the cursor and click on that line that just appeared, number 2, where arrow number 2 is pointing, you'll get a control panel like that open up on your screen. Now, what you want to do is click where the pencil is. It's got a pencil icon and then a yellow line underneath it. You want to click on that and change it to yellow. It probably won't be yellow for you, but yeah, you change it to yellow just so that you know that that's basically what the called at price line refers to. Then if you click on the settings icon in that control panel, which is where arrow number 3 is, you click on that and that's where you then type in the coordinates of the called at price. So if you look over on the next picture where it says, it's got arrow number 4, coordinates is highlighted in blue. That's basically what the screen is showing you. And number 5 is the area where you would put in the called at price. Then you hit OK. So once you've then hit OK, the horizontal line will automatically move to the correct place of what the called at price was. So that's just a really quick way where you don't have to waste time trying to put your called at line in the right place. What we then do is we then want a vertical line to be placed in the place of the most recent candle. Now to do that, again, you just click anywhere on the charts, anywhere that's black on the chart, and this time what you're going to click is Alt and V to stand for like vertical. So then a vertical line will then appear. All you need to do is just click on that line and move it to where it needs to be. For those of you who don't know, the candles, which we do touch on very briefly towards the end, the candles are those red and blue bars that you can see going down and across the screen. So you just put that yellow vertical line basically where the most recent candle is. So now that's the setup. That is literally the setup done. And it may seem long-winded, but that's because I've literally gone through every step that you need to do. But there'll be times where you can actually do it with your eyes closed. You won't even really need to think about doing any of that. So now let's just assume that you've done the setup. You've gone to bed, it's the next day now, and you're thinking, right, I want to trade today. So you log in, you've clicked on the alerts, the chart's opened up. What we want to know is what the cloud is doing or where the cloud is. So for people in my team, when I said that, I actually realized I didn't tell them what the cloud was. So arrow number 1 is literally what the cloud is. It's a purple, it's like a purple bubble with a green line above it, or a green and red line sort of going around it, and it goes across the whole of the screen. Sometimes it gets flat, sometimes it gets big, but that is basically what we call the cloud. And then arrow number 2 is a buy candle because it's green. Arrow number, what am I pointing at? And number 3, it looks a bit skewish. Number 3 is a red candle, so that's a sell candle. And then number 4 is meant to be pointing at a wick, and the wick is basically the thin line that's coming out above or along the bottom of any candle. That's basically what a wick is. That's kind of all you really need to know in regards to candles. So what do we need to do to know whether or not we can take a trade? And we're almost finished. So if it's a sell alert that came through, all we want to know is the red and blue line above the cloud? Okay, if we can just mute ourselves, please. Okay, brilliant. So is the red and blue line above the cloud? And in this example, if you guys put a 1 in the chat box if you think the red and blue line are above the cloud, or put a 2 in the chat box if you think the red and blue line are not above the cloud. Chris, yeah, 1. Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, the red and blue lines are above the cloud. Let me just try and mute everyone a second. Everyone. Okay, cool. So then the next checkpoint is the line, or are the lines pointing upwards? Now, I appreciate on this image, you may not necessarily be able to see very clearly, but when the line's pointing upwards, it will be very obvious to you that it's pointing upwards. Now, because this is a buy, as long as it's not pointing down, then we're okay. But it's a nice to have and a stronger indication if the lines are pointing upwards. But it's not necessarily imperative, as long as it's not pointing down. It can be pointing horizontal or slightly up. Now, have they broken the cloud? That question's not always relevant, because sometimes they're not even in the cloud. So why would you even need to ask yourself that? But it's just sometimes the lines are slightly in the cloud and they look like they're just about to pop through. And you might wait for a minute or so to pass to then see, has it broken? Okay. And then that's when it's okay to continue with the next step. Then the next question that you ask yourself is, because this is a buy, is the red line above the blue line? So in this example, which is towards the left-hand side of the screen, give me a 1 if you think the red line is above the blue line, and a 2 if you think it's not above the blue line. Okay, so we've got both answers coming. We've got 1s and 2s. Okay, so we're looking at the image on the left-hand side of the screen, where the text that says red and blue lines above the cloud is written in green. So the red line on that image is above the blue line. So that basically means that's all good. But because that trade alert came in on a 15-minute time frame, we just need to do exactly the same checks, ask exactly the same questions on another 2 time frames. So what we would then do, we would then click on M5 above the chart, and then M5 will be written in blue, and the chart that then populates up will be the 5-minute chart. And we ask ourselves exactly the same questions. Is the red and blue line above the cloud? Is the lines pointing upwards, and have they broken the cloud? Again, broken the cloud could be not applicable. Guys, can we all please just mute our mics for a moment, please? If somebody in the group can maybe just privately message anyone who they can see where their mics are not off, please. Thank you. Then the next question that we ask is the red line above the blue line? Those are literally the same questions that we ask on 3 time frames. And it may seem long-winded, but you can literally do this in like 20 seconds. It won't take a long time to do these checks once you get used to it. Now, if all the time frame, if all the checks are correct and you've ticked yes for what you want, then basically that means you can then take the trade. So you'd open your MetaTrader 4. For those of you, who are new, I'm just doing this for your benefit. You click on MetaTrader 4 and you then basically find the currency pair, and you would literally then double check your lot size is correct, and then you'd literally just hit buy. We don't worry about the stop loss or the take profit on the strategy for now. We literally just get into the trade. Once you've got into the trade, that's when you then go back in and you modify it, and that's where you put in your take profit. And now this particular strategy normally focuses on 10 pips. So normally if you're going to take a trade, it will be 10 pips that you go for. What are the 3 time frames that you check? So if it's a 15-minute alert that you're taking, you will check 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and 1 minute. If you're taking the trade alert on a 5-minute time frame, you will not be taking 10 pips, not unless you do other checks, which we're not going to go into on this training, but you will normally be going for 3 to 5 pips on a 5-minute alert. And the 3 time frames that you check on a 5-minute alert are 5, 3, and 1. Okay. Now, when you're actually modifying your take profit, what you're going to do is add in 10 pips to your entry price. And if you're going to use a stop loss, then that's entirely up to you. It could be 20 pips, 30 pips, 50 pips. It's whatever you're comfortable with in regards to your risk management. But the nature and the spirit behind this strategy is that you don't really use a stop loss because it's so fast paced. The trades sometimes hit before you can even put the stop loss in. That's how quick it can be sometimes. And also remember, we are retail traders. So the fact that we're retail traders means we don't manipulate the markets, we don't move the markets, but they need us. All the other sort of institutional traders, they still need us to participate in this because it sort of allows for volatility, and they basically then can come in and normally wipe out the trades that have gone in where the stop losses are for the market to then actually then go in the direction that you wanted to go in. So sometimes what I'm trying to say is if you use a stop loss and the stop loss is quite small, it's a 50-50, maybe a more than 50% chance that it will hit the stop loss, but then the market will actually go to what your take profit was. So you could have actually, profited off the trade. How long do you wait to get out of it if it goes, I can't see the whole of that question. If it goes the other way. If it goes the other way, I mean, if you've done this analysis, in the times that I've been trading this, so far, touch wood, every single one of my trades have hit take profit. Even if it means that they're in drawdown for a little bit, they've hit take profit. And the longest that my trades have been in drawdown for is 24 hours, and that was over a weekend, so it just felt painful. I put the trade in like Friday afternoon. It didn't hit take profit straight away, but then it basically hit take profit Monday afternoon. But normally my trades hit take profit like within 8 minutes, half an hour, a couple of hours if I'm unlucky, and if I'm really unlucky, then like a day. If it goes the other way, if you've done the correct analysis, you just need to realize that there will be drawdown. You can watch the 1 minute time frame to see what the candles are going to be formed, the next candles, how they're going to be formed. And you can also look on the higher time frames, like the 15-minute or 1 hour, to get an idea for what the market's going to do, because it always repeats itself. So I don't want to get too technical, but yeah, you should hit take profit. 9 times out of 10, they have hit take profit. If it goes the other way, just have patience, is what I would say. How long do you wait to get out of that? So to scalp, you should look at the lower. Yeah, to scalp, you do your analysis normally on the 15-minute time frame first of all, and then you go down to the lower time frames, and you always want to see what the 1 minute or the 3 minutes doing, and then you'll basically go in for the kill. So that's it on stop losses. And in regards to a sell, it's the opposite. So if it's a sell, what you want the red and the blue line to be below the cloud. You want the line to be pointing downwards or horizontal. And ideally, yes, you still want it to break the cloud, but break the bottom of the cloud. Everything for a sell is below or bottom. Then the next checkpoint is the red line below the blue line? Now, in this example, do you guys think that the red line is below the blue line? Yes or no? And this is the second image that's to the right. Okay, I've got both answers coming through. So I appreciate it's probably not a great example because the lines are quite close together, but no, right at the tip or the end of the red and blue line, the red line is actually above it, but it looks like it's going to cross back over. So we would probably hang on for a bit if this was happening live. We'd hang on for a bit to see what the market's going to do, what it's going to give us. And I'm quite confident to say that it would probably turn out to be that the red line would be below the blue line on the next candle. So yeah, that's not necessarily a best example. So what I'll probably do is update the slides for the future. But that's basically the questions that we ask ourselves, and we would ask it again on the next time frame. So we click on 5 minutes to open up the 5-minute chart, and we ask ourselves exactly the same questions. Is the red and blue line below the cloud? Are the lines pointing down? Have the lines broken the cloud at the bottom? And is the red line below the blue line? It's the same questions that you ask yourself. And like I said, you will do this in like 20 seconds once you get used to this. Now, the only difference is when you're doing a sell and you're calculating your take profit, you're actually minusing. You're minusing from your entry price to get your take profit number. You're minusing 10 pips from it. So hopefully that makes sense. And the way to remember this, or this is how I remember it, I'll go through the questions in a second. I'll scroll through the chat in a moment and then go through them because we're nearly finished. So how to remember, this is how I remember it. And I just remember one thing, and then I know that everything else is the opposite. So to buy, if it's a buy trade, you spell buy, B-U-Y. Up as in U-P. So as you can see, I've underlined the U in buy and I've underlined the U in up. That's how I remember it. If it's a buy, all I want to know, is it up? Is it above? Is it additional? So you add to the take profit. You want it to go up basically to your entry price. You want to know if the lines are up above the cloud. You want to know if the red line is up above from the blue line. If you just remember that one thing and you know that everything else is the opposite. Do you use the green line for anything in your analysis at all? Right, so the green line, not the green line that's connected to the cloud. There's another green line that looks like it's a bit zigzaggy. That is kind of, I don't want to confuse people, but that's basically what we call the money line. And if I'm thinking, I think I can get more than 10 pips, you look to the left, as Dr. Kathy says, and I just think of Beyonce when I'm thinking of that. I just think of that song. So I look to the left and I'm looking for where that green line, the next peak was, or the last peak was. So you just scroll to the left, wherever that last peak was, you can put another line there, maybe a different horizontal line in a different color. And that basically means, that basically means that the market has been there before and it more than likely would go back there again. So I would put, if you see that green line, I didn't put that green line there, but it's quite handy. That green line where it says 76.778, right, let's say that we put that horizontal line there. And if you go over to the left, you'll see like a mountain top peak. And the line cuts like across the top of the mountain peak. That would be, well, you would go over a bit more to the left, but that is basically more than likely where you can put your take profit, but I would do it as TP1, TP2. I would do it in stages. So yeah, I do use it, but I've only started doing that after like my first week of just doing the basics. But yeah, that's what that basically green line is the money line. So in regards to remembering, just remember up, buy, B-U-Y, up, U-P. Everything we want for a buy is up. If it's a sell, then it's the opposite for everything else. So this is basically a checklist and a trading journal that I've created and given to my team. And it's just for them to print out and not have to think too much about what it is that they're looking for. I don't have 3 confirmations on it because I feel once you've done the first 2 confirmations, you don't really need to write down or mark down what the 3rd confirmation is. It will be quite, you'll just remember what that most recent confirmation is that you just looked at. And it's got a space where you put the called at price, the entry price, and see, I've even put take profit is plus 10 pips for a buy, and it's minus 10 pips for a sell. So yeah, I will make this available. I'll post it in the group chat if anyone wants it. And it's just a document that you can either copy out written wise and you have that page, that piece of paper open while you're trading, first of all, or you can print it out and just have it there while you're trading. Okay. Now, this was, I think this was three or 4 days into me trading this particular strategy. And I only started with £50. So I think I saw a question, asking about the lot sizes. It really does depend on, I mean, I was copying Dr. Kathy Kirkland and everything, and she was quite aggressive. She was going on 12% increase a day. So I was kind of following that. So £50, and the date there, I think it was I can't remember what date it was, but that was the Monday anyway. And then by the Thursday, I had £64 profit. So I had doubled my money, and that was only Thursday. By the Friday, my £50 actually turned into £154. Now those numbers may not seem, that in terms of money, it may not seem like much, but just remember that percentage of growth would have happened regardless of how much money I started with. So if I started with £1,000, then boy, that £1,000 would have tripled the same way how that £50 tripled. So that's just something to kind of think about. And that was my first week. That was my first week of trading. I was still like, I literally just did 1 day in demo, did about 10 trades in demo. And then I just thought, no, they've all hit take profit really quickly. Let me just kind of go and make some money with this. And then I started doing it in my live account. But I only started with £50. So that was my own way of doing my risk management, even though I was trading live. So this works. It definitely works. And if anyone's interested, this is a compounding tracker that I use. Where the green boxes are, those are the only 2 boxes that you need to change. So the first green box that says starting balance, if you're starting with £50, £100, £1,000, you put that in there. And then the next green box, which is underneath the percentage column, you can change that to 3%, 5%, 10%, 12%, whatever you want. But that will give you an indication as to how much you're looking to make on that particular day, because it will say target, and that will populate automatically. And then it will tell you roughly what lot size you should be using. Now, bearing in mind, it's not a complete science. Maybe it's just because I haven't figured out how to do this, but each currency pair, the pips have a different value. So even though it says like 0.03 or 0.06 lot size, you may not necessarily get the exact amount for the target depending on what currency pairs you're trading. So hopefully that makes some sense. So that's basically it. All I want to say is let's get trading. Let's all be profitable traders. The next steps I would say is to log on and listen to Dr. K live. Practice in your demo. I would say minimum of 10 trades. So if you do those 10 trades in a day and you feel comfortable, then go to your live account. Go to your live account and trade in your live account. qualify for the 100 pip club, and then share your success with everyone, because it wasn't until I had success in this that I really felt confident in actually speaking to people about this opportunity. And by default, the fact that you're kind of making money, even if it's only like £50 to 150 or 154, you will tell people about it. And by default, they'll be like, really? Because if you leave your money, if you leave £50 in your bank account and you come back in 4 days, you're not going to have £154. So I don't really want anyone kind of skinning up on the £154 that was made. It's absolutely amazing in my book. You're not going to get that return on many other things in this current climate. So share your success with everyone, and basically let's just kind of let's win. Let's go, as Tez says. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing. I'll put my camera back on, hopefully. Let me just figure out how to do this on my phone. One moment. Zoom. Okay. Try and get you guys back. How do I do that?
Wow. Guys, if you got any value at all from that training, can you put a 7 in it? You can put whatever you like in the chat box, guys, if you got value from that at all, because my wrist is hurting from the notes I've been taking. You know, I used to train this strategy, but the way she's just broken it down is just taking me to a whole new level. So I really appreciate those nuggets. Just the way you deliver that training, it's quite clear that you know, you come from a corporate background and you're used to kind of delivering trainings, very high level, very detailed, very clear, absolutely incredible. Guys, it's very important that you develop your own risk management. If you're trading without stop losses, then just do that at your own risk. Or you may want to implement a stop loss that you're comfortable with. Okay, but develop something that you're comfortable with. That was insane, guys. The results speak for themselves. You know, men and women lie, numbers don't lie. You know, that's why I've been so passionate about this training, because she's catching pips consistently. Tripled her account last week, 250 pips, like it was calm. When I asked her how many pips she made, she just said it like it was nothing. 250 pips, guys. That's not easy at all. So yeah, Sassy, unbelievable. Your first major team training, and you've maxed out the call. Says a lot. Now, am I right in saying that it's going to be a weekly feature?
If you guys want it to be, yeah. I mean, we can maybe open it up and use it as a peaking tool as well. I'm cool. You guys let me know.
Yeah, that was my vision when I initially took this on, and I started doing these sessions. It was to have it as a peaking tool, because guys, I want you to know that Vibrata has been likened to investment banking software. You know, this is sophisticated software, and it's so, you know, once you get to grips with it, it's so easy to use. So it's a great peaking tool. It's very much a case of come and have a look at this piece of software to see how easy it is for you to make money in your spare time. You know, many people are busy. This is something that you can use when you have spare time. I used to love logging on to, back then it was called the web analyzer, right? I used to love logging on because I'm busy. I'm always doing meetings at the tower, meeting with people's prospects. So whenever I had a spare hour, I'd get my laptop open, I'd jump onto the web analyzer, and then, you know, I'm just waiting for those ka-chings. That ka-ching, it's like, you know, those of you that know Pavlov's dogs will know about conditioning theory. You know, I became conditioned as soon as I heard that ka-ching. I was on my hind legs. So yeah, Sassy, over to you to close it down. I just want to say I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It's clear that time and effort has gone into that presentation. Like, you haven't just come on to try and wing it. You spent time on that presentation. That's not easy. That takes hours. I know what it's like, because I do the same thing. You know, you've put hours into that presentation, and I just want you to know that it was well appreciated, you know, and I'm sure people took value from it. This has been recorded. Are you going to upload it to your YouTube channel? Or
I don't have one. I need to create one.
do that as a matter of urgency. Create your YouTube channel, because I'm sure this is the start of things to come. So thank you so much. Back over to you. Really appreciate you.
No worries. Thank you. I'm just so grateful that you guys actually found value from it, because I was so nervous thinking, am I teaching people how to suck eggs? Is it something where they're going to think, why are you telling us this? It's quite obvious. So I'm glad that you actually got something from it. And honestly, if I can do it, You guys could definitely do it, because when we first started, I know I wanted to really just trade. I didn't really want to team build. And I took the trades from the Breakfast Club, and I had like really good success with it. And then I just started to have issues like where I was working late into the night because I was trying to support my team and had other things. And I was too tired. Like my son, I was looking after my son when the Breakfast Club was on. I started missing the trades, and I was like, okay, I need to find a way to do this myself. And that's literally how I came onto it. So yeah, it's very, very simple. Once you've done the setup, it's simple. And if I'm catching 250 pips, like, I wasn't even trying.
Say that again.
I was catching 250 pips and I wasn't even trying. Last week I thought I hardly traded, because I felt like I was doing Zoom calls with my teams and trying to support them, getting them up to speed. And even my dad was like, oh, Sass, have you traded today? And I was like, no, not really. So when I calculated it all, I was like, wow. And that's because you can literally jump on, especially if you're a mum. You guys know that I'm all about the mums. If you have a spare half an hour when your child is having their nap or they're out, literally, like they said, just log on and you will catch some pips in that half an hour. I'm not sure if I answered all the questions. I don't know if you guys want to.
I just want to give a big shout.
All right. What about you dads? You dads too. I'm forgetting that I have on dads too.
Big shout to Dwayne and his books for children. If you looking for good children's books, Dwayne, put your website in the chat box. A big shout to ZMN Commercial, who are producing Beasts, and a big shout to Mum's Wealth, who Sassy actually heads them up as well.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. Unless you have any questions, and if not, then just put them in the group chat, and I'll and just at me, and I'll kind of answer them. But I'm not even a guru at this, honestly. I'm not a guru at it. I'm not going to take that title just yet. But I can hopefully answer the questions that you have, and I will upload the recording into the group as well.
Big shout to the Ngozi family.
Ngozis!
Brilliant stuff. Amazing.
All right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. See you at the top.
Thank you. Let's go!
Let's go!
Let's go! Let's go, Bookie. Let's go! Let's go, Tonale. Let's go, Tolu. Let's go, SA. Let's go, Nicole. Let's go, Anne-Marie. Let's go, Zedman.